Breaking news here on the field of 68. Arkansas transfer Trevon Brazile announced today that he is going to be returning to the Razorbacks. And instead of playing for Eric Musselman, he will be playing for John Calipari. John Calipari has himself another veteran impact piece, a really interesting 6'10" athletic. I guess you can call him a 4. Maybe a small ball 5, maybe a big wing, whatever you want to call him. He is a guy that could block some shots. He could catch some lobs. He could bang home some threes, and he will fit nicely alongside Jonas Adu, Adu Thoreau, Big Z, and the rest of Arkansas's roster. What do you make of Brazile's, I guess, recommitment, Jeff, to the Razorbacks?
I'm a big fan. I am. I mean, listen, before he got hurt 2 years ago, you're talking about a guy that NBA teams had somewhere in the first round, and just didn't come back from that the same way, and struggled last year a little bit. But he's been in college for a while. I think this is his 4th season in college, so you got another veteran, which I think is what Calipari needs. Long, athletic, like you said, skilled, can block shots, can run the court. He's got some guards that are going to want to go, and you need some bigs that are going to want to go with him. And I just think he gives them another look, and a guy also, which I think is important, Rob, a guy who's been at Arkansas already. This whole team, look at them. They're all new to Arkansas and Fayetteville. So you have at least one guy who's been there, who can help these players out with, hey, where, any of these questions that need to be answered can be anything, right? Like, where's the library, right? Like, these kids need to know where the library is, don't they, Rob?
Yeah, they're definitely going to the library. That's where most of these guys are going to be spending the majority of their time. No, but look, there is something to be said for continuity, right? And there is something to be said for having veterans around. It's Brazile's 4th year. It's his 3rd season at Arkansas. It's his 4th year in college. He's going to be 22 years old. I believe he was technically a sophomore last year, but it's his 4th year. He's effectively a senior in college. And I think he's a guy that fits perfectly next to someone like a Jonas Adu. 1, because he can shoot. 2, because he can also catch lobs. And 3, because he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands to be effective. And when you start plugging some of these other pieces together, right? You look at John L. Davis, you look at DJ Wagner, you look at maybe even someone like a Big Z. All of a sudden, you have some front court pieces that can be out there that can create space that will allow driving lanes for some of the talented guards, a Boogie Fland, a Carter Knox, a Billy Richmond, to be able to make this work. And the big thing that I like about this addition, Jeff, I guess, well, I don't even know if you can call it addition, whatever it is, but Brazile being on this roster is you now have 6 guys on this Arkansas roster. There's 9 guys on the team right now. You have 6 guys that have played college basketball before. And of those 6, 4 of them are heading into their 3rd or 4th year in college, right? So all of a sudden, this roster is older and more experienced. And I think anything John Calipari has had in kind of recent years with Kentucky, I think you may not even have a freshman in the starting lineup. Boogie Fland, Carter Knox, Billy Richmond, you may not have any of them in the starting lineup next season for Arkansas. I think that's big.
You probably shouldn't. I mean, realistically, the only one you'd see is maybe starting is Boogie Fland. If he's the best true point guard on the roster, maybe he starts. But to me, unless Carter Knox is that good, which when I saw him a couple of years ago, I didn't think he was like jumped off the page good. Same thing with Billy Richmond. Good freshman, but not elite freshman. So listen, I like it. I like it for Arkansas. I'm not sure I love it for Brazile. That's the only thing I'd say. I'm not sure I love it for him. And in a way, I like it because, again, I think they're going to get up and down. And I think that helps Brazile as much as anything, right? Get up and down. He is tough in transition because of his length, because of his athleticism. But I would want to play with guards that move the ball. Like, that's my biggest worry if I'm Brazile. It's like, I say this with most bigs. Like, you want to play with guards, especially a kid like him, who know how to throw the lob, who know how to advance it, that aren't going to keep pounding the ball. I love John L. Davis, but he's a 2. DJ Wagner, to me, I don't care about the assist numbers. He's more 2 than 1. Boogie Fland is a combo. So, like, I just don't know, again, how easy those guards are going to make it for a kid like Brazil.
Yeah, the last thing it'll say is at this point with Brazil on the roster, for me it's going to be very difficult to leave Arkansas out of a preseason. I didn't have them in my most recent update in the preseason top 25. For me, it's going to be very hard to keep them out of the preseason top 25. And if they can add maybe one more shooter on the wing, maybe it is someone like an Arthur Kaluma, maybe it is someone like a Wooga Poplar, or maybe it is one of these other guys that's still available in the portal that can step out beyond the 3-point line and space the floor, maybe just a catch and shoot guy, whatever it is. Um, to me, that is kind of the next step. And if they can add one more guy like that can do it at a pretty high level, that's a veteran, then I would. I think that Arkansas has kind of moved themselves up in the ranks with this addition. I like it. There's talent on this roster. There's
Hey,
length,
so
there's athleticism, there's veterans. I'm in. I think Coach Cal has put together a really good team. It's kind of like, to me, it's really similar to Indiana in the sense that the talent is there, the pieces are there, and I'm still a little bit hesitant to buy all the way in because I need to see how they are going to be coached up.
So I talked to a bunch of NBA guys about Brazil, and I'll kind of read or tell you what some said, which was most of them had him. Remember, he went through the draft process. I think he thought he was going to be a first rounder. Again, was more of a second round to undrafted guy. One of them told me, hey, he's got to play harder. He's got to play harder more consistently. Another told me, he's got to do something. Basically said someone could take him late in the second, but he'll be in a two-way. But basically didn't have a great year and hasn't shown like a big time NBA skill. So those are things that I think Brazil, again, 2 years ago, the NBA guys were intrigued and loved him because he shot the hell out of the ball. If you remember, before he got hurt, he really shot at a high clip. And it's not like he didn't shoot it fairly well last year. Part of the problem was last year, the team just didn't perform. And I think, again, a lot of people put the blame, partially on Brazil.
Yeah, last year was a mess. So
Yeah.
look, we'll see how that all plays out. But in my mind, at this point, Arkansas is a top 25 team that may be inching towards the preseason top 20.